Live from San Diego, California, this is the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans, with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, Jason Eitzmo, and Mike Maciejewski. We're talking Chargers, Padres, and Aztec sports. It's time to let your voice be heard.
What's up, San Diego Sports Junkies? This is a show for fans.
By the fans.
And we got a great show lined up for you. First and foremost, I got to shout out Supercharged in the chat room. He is the first to speak in our so-called chat room. And guess what, Supercharged? You are the fantastic winner of absolutely nothing.
Nice. Congrats. All right.
You know, we have something, we tease this every single week. We have something that's very rare. Once again, we have all four members of the San Diego Sports Junkies here.
Wow,
including Mikey.
Mikey.
And if you can tell when his voice is acknowledged here, it doesn't have any echo effect. So no, he is not sitting in the toilet.
Oh, man. What are you talking about? I was here last week. You guys weren't here.
That's right. It was the Mike and Jason show last week.
And I was sick. I wasn't sitting home watching the Aztec game because they didn't play last Wednesday.
I was not either.
I had a legitimate argument.
I was not sick.
Speaking of the Aztec game, anybody who wants to hear what Mike has to say about anything, listen up very closely before 8 o'clock, because once 8 o'clock hits...
Yeah, it shuts down. The Aztec game starts. They'll be at the Thomas and Mack Center, and his mind will be in the computer, as they say.
Pretty much.
So we have a great show lined up for you guys today. We also want to shout out our website, SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com. It is in construction, for lack of terms. We are working on improving the website, especially have a huge focus on our blog. We are looking for people who are fanatics like ourselves, like the Die Hard Bolt Club that backs us deeply, to let their voice be heard, to go onto our blog, to write about Padres, Chargers, Aztecs, the San Diego Gulls, anything San Diego sports. We're looking for somebody to be a part of the team and voice their opinion. Mikey, our lead editor, is going to be helping you every step of the way. So if you have any interest whatsoever, you can go to SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com and sign up as a member. You can go on Twitter. His handle is Mike_SDSJ. And he'll get your ball rolling. We got Donnie Fox in the chat room. He just wrote a nice article for us the other day. Donnie, welcome to the chat room as well. Darren and the boys in the chat room, we thank you. SoCal Trav, the mayor, we're going to hear more from him a little later today. He stepped up at the Save the Bolts rally.
Yeah, really rep for us, too. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was nice of him.
He did, absolutely. Yeah. I do want to, dive into some, Aztecs basketball talk. Obviously the Aztecs dropped kind of a heartbreaker at home. In my opinion, that was a must-win game, and the reason why I say that is because now the only chance we have to win our conference is to be co-champions. We have to win out to be co-champions. Losing that game, especially we dominated the first 33 minutes of that game. In the last 7 minutes, we kind of just let it slip away. Mm-hmm. It was heartbreaking.
Really quick, just shout out to Rosie in the chat room. Maybe that'll get Hula for me to jump in the chat room as well. She won't be the only female.
She's been Hula's been talking a lot on Instagram too, saying she's going to join the show. I go, where you at, man? Yeah. Where you at?
But just jumping back to that game, I'm glad you said what you said, Josh, because we've talked about this since Charger season about what a must-win looks like.
Yeah, so they're out of the tournament then, right?
Right.
God, here comes Jason.
It was a must-win, and they didn't win, so it's over, right? Season's over, right?
Exactly. Okay. We're talking before the show, and this is what a must-win looks like, because if you want to win the conference championship, this is a must-win game. All right? We're not saying that they're going to be out. It's not like a must-win or the season's over, because basketball doesn't work like football. It's not like once you're out, you're out. But if you want to win the championship, this is a must-win game.
And you call it a must-win, right, Mikey? Because look at
Boise
State's schedule. They
play San Jose State and Fresno State at home.
And Fresno State's not an easy out, but
it's at home.
But this is the must-win game, not the home game we had last week.
Let's back up a little bit. What the hell happened last game? The Aztecs, that was one of the rare. I don't get a chance to watch all the games because they're on the CBS Sport Network, which I personally don't get. They were on ESPN2 this time. I got to watch the whole game. I enjoyed almost the whole game, and they just completely fell apart at the end. They got stuck on whatever points they were at, and they could not score. They couldn't. They gave up. As good as their defense looked, and their defense at the beginning looked fantastic, I could not believe how many offensive rebounds they were giving up. I was shocked.
I think there's a couple things, Jason, that stick out to me. Yes, the rebounding. Not only on the defensive boards, but I think, or I should say, not only on the offensive boards, but especially on the defensive boards, not allowing them to get second chance opportunities. We did so well early in the game from preventing them from getting second chance opportunities, and late in that second half, we weren't being as aggressive or as successful. But I think more importantly, Akil Quinn got in foul trouble early in that game, and I don't care what anybody says. He's been our leader offensively. He's been the one that facilitated this offense and really guided us in the back half of this season. And when he got in foul trouble, nothing to take away from Trey Kell, but you lost a leader on the offense that's been able to facilitate the ball and really help put up points.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that it was J.J. O'Brien in the second half. I mean, if you saw the first half, he was taking it to the basket at will. Ended up with one shot. Even Coach Fisher after the game said, he didn't pin the loss on O'Brien, but he said, one shot. That's not acceptable from JJ.
Well, and then what have we learned this year, though? I mean, not to catch up, but the offense goes through J.J. O'Brien this season. It really does.
It does.
And if you're only getting one attempt, that's poor. I mean, guys, and at the end of the game, inexperience kind of reared its head. You had a Malik Pope that maybe probably shouldn't have taken a three. You had another.
Pope didn't really contribute too much. I was expecting a little bit
more
out of
and just
him.
kind of
been talking so much about him. This is, one of the chances I got to watch a whole game after he's kind of established himself a little bit, and he didn't really do anything.
For me, it was just a few dicey decisions down the stretch by inexperienced players, freshmen. Kell and Pope had two big misses for me in transition, and it really. And it's not something we've seen a lot out of the Aztecs going down the stretch. We're really clutch usually. We get it to a guy that's been there and done that. And it used to be, X Thames, and now this year a Quinn. But we didn't see that. We saw a little immaturity come from our freshmen, and it kind of bit us in the ass.
So, speeding up to present day, we face off in UNLV tonight, the Thomas Mack Center, a team that has been struggling. Let's be honest, UNLV is not the UNLV of old. UNLV has been struggling. But we've also had very good success at the Thomas and Mack Center.
Right.
It's kind of our home away from home. We've had very good success not only there during the regular season, but in the tournament, in the Mountain West Conference tournament. What do the Aztecs have to do tonight to get back on their winning ways and maintain their dominance, not only over the conference, but to maintain their spot and get a chance of that Mountain West Conference championship?
One word, pressure. UNLV's got 7 scholarship players. Rashad Vaughn is out. A lot of other players who I don't know their name out. But, we have 7 guys. And if you remember the game here at Viejas, the first half, we didn't look too great. I think we were down. And we came back and we wore them out. Their legs were, completely done by the end of the game. We just took that game and ran with it. So today, I expect to see us pressure all game.
What about you? I think it's a fast start. You got to get off to a quick start because the crowd's going to be like every venue we've gone to this year. We've seen the crowds come alive, and I think this is their senior night, if I'm not mistaken. It is.
I believe
this
so.
is a big night for them. Rashad Vaughn is out. I know that, but this is a big night, and UNLV hates us. They will show up for one game a year, even if they suck. We would too, and it'd be UNLV or New Mexico, and we always do. So. It's a battle.
I like that you mentioned it's senior night.
It is.
Is there anybody that's a senior at UNLV right now?
I don't think so. No, I was just saying that in my mind. But it is senior night. And then maybe they have a guy on the bench. Isn't Cody Doolin a transfer senior?
Yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah, so
right.
maybe he'll get recognized.
I'm sure he'll get a lot of love. You've heard how much the UNLV fans
they hate that guy.
One thing I want to touch on before we're going to move forward to the commercial break is big news that I caught. Jerry Meyer, who is the head editor, publisher at 247 Sports. Someone on Twitter asked him about Zach Collins. And if you don't know 247 Sports, I mentioned it in the last article I've written. they give you a prediction that, media types and scouts or publishers from their websites, they give you a prediction of what they think is going to happen with the recruit, where they're going to go. Zach Collins came in a couple weeks ago. Last week went to Gonzaga. Again, it was his final trip.
And has already visited San Diego State,
Yeah,
right?
he's finished his 5 visits. Someone asked Jerry, Gonzaga's the favorite on the crystal ball, and they asked him, how do you feel about that? Well, he's like, I have to do some digging. He did some digging, and he mentioned that Utah, San Diego State, and Gonzaga are in the mix for his commitment.
Services, yeah.
For his commitment.
He's a big get if a team can land him. He's a big, and we don't have too many bigs, and he's a legitimate big that can develop into a legitimate low post player like you see at Kentucky or Duke. So that would be a huge get for the Aztecs.
Yeah, and so they asked, afterwards they asked him how solid he was on the Gonzaga thing, and he said, not as solid as I was before I started excavating for information. So that's huge right there, and that just shows that, Aztecs are in this one.
Yeah, they are. They're in the conversation.
Didn't you predict this, Mikey?
Well, I did mention in the article that I thought the 3 that were really in play were Utah, San Diego State, and Gonzaga. I didn't think New Mexico or I believe the other school was, I can't remember. I want to say maybe ASU or somebody else. ASU or something. They weren't really in play.
Pac-12 schools.
Yeah, they weren't really in play. So it was just those 3. But yeah, I mean that's good to see that. What I followed along and heard, that was kind of what Jerry Meyer's seeing as well.
Right. So back to the Aztecs really quick. As far as the basketball, currently, they're in a good position not only for the conference tournament, getting a good seed, but they're in a good position as far as March Madness. I think the last I heard that their number 7 seed is what they're projected.
7-8.
So hypothetically speaking, these next 2 games and moving into the conference tournament, how vital is it not only to get a good seed in March Madness, or is there a chance that we could be one of those bubble teams?
Well, like we were talking before the show, Josh, I think if they struggle against UNLV tonight and they somehow lose at home on senior night, and they walk into that tournament limping and they get ousted, hold on to your hat, dude, because I don't know what's going to happen. And they might get in, but they might be like a 13. They might be in the play-in game for all I know in Dayton, Ohio. So, I mean, they might be the first 4 in, and that would scare the crap out of me. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they get back on pace. And, man, how big I think, and hear me out too, I don't know if you guys agree, if they go through the Mountain West tournament and get to the title game, I think that elevates them from a 7-8 to a 6 to a 7, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Well, and like we talked about last week, Jason and I, we mentioned that these things don't happen in a vacuum. It's not like San Diego State, whatever. There's other teams around them who win or lose. All depends on all those teams. It's not like San Diego State can do this by themselves without anybody else's help. So, it has to be, you have to look at it that way. So I know a lot of people, and I had a friend with me who was at the game at Boise State, and he looked at me and goes, 8-9 seed. That's it. Nothing better. And then the next day or Monday it comes out and that they're still projected as a 7. It's like, come on, people, you need to realize it's not just what happens here, it's what happens throughout college.
But we have to maintain the thought of 68 teams get in, and that's it. And that's hard to do. And resumes speak for themselves, RPIs speak for themselves, and the Aztecs certainly have the resume this season. So we'll see what happens.
I got to shout out Darren here. He wanted to throw out a mention to 12-1 Aztecs men's baseball team.
Oh yeah,
they got a huge win the other night against I believe it's the UCI.
We're gonna have to hire Darren as our Aztec Aztec baseball correspondent.
They beat Irvine, and it was a big game for them.
He follows the Aztecs baseball. I know he went to a few games last year. But we're going to have to get a lot of information from him.
Well,
hopefully we can get
I challenge him to call in every now and then and kind of update us on
he'll be
talking
Aztecs soon.
Baseball.
He'll be talking soon enough on maybe the Sports Junkies line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
we're going to take a quick break, guys. We come back. We ask you this: will Brandon Flowers be a Charger next season? Stick around for Jake's Take with Jake Hefner from ProFootballSpot.com and find out more.
Yes, finally it's time for a show like this. I'm talking about none other than The Big Show, with hosts Nick and Darren. We will steer you, the listener, towards the winner's circle. We'll tell you where, and more importantly, where not to throw your pennies week after week. I mean, why lose that cash when there's plenty of other vices to feed, right? We'll talk anything. You can make a wager on it, for sure we'll be talking about it. So don't forget to catch us every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, beginning April 1st. There's going to be so much going on by then, can't wait. Hear us only on Spreaker and iTunes, The Big Show. And give us a shout on Twitter, @The Big Show. We'll see you in April, and remember, if it feels good, do it. Do it.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
Are you a San Diego sports fanatic or looking for a user-friendly sports platform to voice your opinion? Then visit us at SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com or message our lead editor on Twitter @Mike_SDSJ. You'll soon be showing the world your passion for San Diego sports on our blog.
Also, listen to our live podcast every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. We are a show for fans, by the fans. Talking Chargers, Padres, Aztecs, and anything San Diego sports.
Never come back, most come back for more. I got a house in the hills with a dough that spins, goes in and out and round and round again. I live a life these player haters would love to be living. Since a kid I've been surrounded by beautiful women and slipping in them to win them the unforgiven. Still something's missing, cause deep inside I'm suffering of a lonely heart condition. Wishing I could find a girl that'll take me away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen in the chat room and around the world, we are back and better than ever. So we now have Jake Hefner from ProFootballSpot.com on the line, and he will be telling us about the future of Brandon Flowers as a Charger and more as we break down the defensive backfield. Jake, welcome to the show.
Gentlemen, happy Wednesday to you. How are we doing tonight?
Wonderful as always, my friend. Anytime that we can sit down and talk San Diego sports for an hour and a half is time well spent, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Amen to that.
So before we broke to your segment of our show, we had mentioned, about the defensive backs, obviously, but more importantly, Brandon Flowers. And I guess we can start it there, and we can dive into the rest of the defensive backfield. There's been a lot of speculation of whether or not the Chargers will bring Brandon Flowers back as a Bolt. I think most of us Charger fans really, really hope so. Mikey pointed out that we had a vast improvement in the passing defense. I think we were up to 4th, Mikey, I believe.
That's what I heard today.
So, do you see Brandon Flowers coming back and donning the bolts next year for the Chargers?
I would have to say so. I think it's definitely the number one priority on Tom Telesco's list right now. We all know that Flowers representatives were meeting with the Chargers representatives from the Combine. I believe it was just before we got the news that, King Dunlap had been re-signed to a brand new deal. So the two sides have been talking for some time now, and obviously the clock is winding down to Tuesday before free agency starts. Hopefully, within the next week, before Tuesday, we can have a deal done. We definitely don't want to give him the opportunity to hit the open market for sure. But like you guys were saying, a vast improvement to the pass defense, I would say, is a little bit of an understatement. I mean, for a guy coming in first year with the team, he finished with 52 combined tackles, led the team with 3 interceptions, and also totaled 10 pass breakups. So definitely from the secondary from what it was in 2013, a transition to 2014 with the addition of Brandon Flowers definitely gave the team an added toughness and a different type of an attitude.
Now, also, another free agent for the Chargers is Sharice Wright. I don't know if how much you pay attention to Twitter during the game, but there seemed to be a lot of hate for Sharice Wright for some reason from Charger fans, and I didn't quite get it. I thought he had a real solid season. I think he's a real solid cornerback. Do the Chargers have any interest in bringing him back?
I think they do, and I think that the reason that you bring back Charisse is not only has he been with the team, for 4 years, and he has grown every single year that he has been on the field, and getting the opportunity to have that starting role, more opportunities to play, and unfortunately, just with our defensive backs, it was all just in and out. We rarely got the opportunity to see the three of Charisse Wright, Brandon Flowers, and Jason Verrett on the field at the same time. With Charisse, I kind of saw that too, as far as, the little bit of a Twitter backlash towards him and his play, but, he did not do that bad of a job. And considering the way that the cornerback market is going to be, because it is not a strong draft class for cornerbacks this year, and you have a lot of these big names, Charisse Wright is going to be towards either the middle of the pack or the lower end of the pack. So if the Chargers are willing to put their money somewhere else, I think Charisse Wright would be a very value-type signing for the Chargers to bring back, and I think it would be a great one just to really solidify the group that you have in the backfield already and not really lose anything in terms of play, in my opinion.
Hey, Jake, it's Justin. Quick question from our Twitter feed. Mike Costa, 1360, just chimed in. They were getting a lot of banter, and I know it's kind of off topic, but it's still the secondary. Guys were talking about Peterson to the Chargers, maybe potentially for a Weddle and a second or a third-round pick. Your opinions while Weddle's stock is high?
Way too high of a cost.
Or what are your thoughts on that? We can keep it secondary here.
So he's proposing an Adrian Peterson trade for Eric Weddle and a second-round pick.
Yeah, the Weddle to the Vikes, I would presume, obviously, and then a second or a third.
Yeah, that's why I was listening to some of the callers call into Fox Sports 1360 during the Cannons, and that was one of the questions that was posed to Costa and company is whether or not we would trade for Adrian Peterson and give up a potential Weddle and a second or third round selection.
Look, I know that Adrian Peterson, on paper, sounds like something that the Chargers should jump all over. But you mean to tell me that you're willing to trade a guy who this last season had 114 combined tackles, and his third time in his 8-year career that he finished with at least 100 tackles in a season, he forced 2 fumbles and corralled an interception. He is basically the heart and the leader of your defensive back unit, if not your entire defense. I've said this, weeks ago when we were talking about running backs. It's not worth that type of a trade, because especially with the way that you're going to have the draft class of the running backs this year, Adrian Peterson and DeMarco Murray, in my opinion, are not going to get paid what they are seeking. And at 28 years old, for a running back, we know what usually happens to them when they hit 30 years old. It usually goes downhill from there. So I think Weddle and a second-round pick, well, number one, I'm actually tired of trading away the second-round pick. I would really hope that we hold on to that thing because we've done it so many times. But Weddle and a second-round pick, in my opinion, for Adrian Peterson, you may strengthen the offensive side of the ball, sure, but I think you vastly hurt your secondary and your entire defense, and then an opportunity to go out and get a playmaker in the draft if you do that.
I just want to go on record that I agree with almost everybody in our chat room. They're saying a bunch of bad words about that, followed by the word no. But me personally, this is Jason speaking, I wouldn't trade Adrian Peterson straight up for only a second-round draft choice. I think that would be too high of a price to pay myself. I know Josh had something to say, but I just wanted to get that in there. I think that Eric Weddle and anything would be crazy.
Yeah, when I was listening to the Cannons and I heard that, I completely, laughed out loud. Obviously, don't get me wrong, I would love to have all-day AP here donning the Chargers uniform. I think he would vastly help our running game, but we need offensive line in a big, big way. And if we had to give away any draft picks that can help bolster that offensive line, I'm not for it. Maybe if it was a late or maybe if it was a draft pick, and I don't even know if this is possible, but if you drafted if you gave him a draft pick for like next year's draft, not this upcoming, but the following year, I don't even know if that's possible.
You can do that.
Maybe, because it is so vital right now that we get our offensive line taken care of, because not only our running game, our passing game, there's so many aspects that are built around the trenches. The offensive line is so vital right now. And I agree with some of what they said. In their opinion of that is that the offensive line, build your offensive line and then get that running back, through the draft that you can put behind that strong offensive line and can be successful. Jake, I do have to pose another question from Sam G in the chat room. He says, what prospect at cornerback have you looked at as a potential target?
It's hard with, and are we speaking just in free agents here? Are we talking the draft or what?
We're talking the draft. What potential prospect in the draft at quarterback, have you looked at as a potential target for the Chargers?
Well, it's interesting with this particular draft class because, the whole defensive back unit, it's not as deep as it was last year with Jason Verrett and, and the rest, and, Roby and a lot of the guys who came out last year. It's not as deep as it was. But you look at some of the guys, obviously, Trey Wayne obviously is going to jump right off the page from Michigan State. 100%, that's going to be what everybody's looking at for as far as defensive backs, Marcus Peters from Washington, they're all going to be there. You go a little bit deeper, though, and I like some of these guys from these smaller schools, like a Kevin Johnson out of Wake Forest. I like what I've seen on tape from him. A PJ Williams. Some of these guys can be had in the second and the third round, just because of the way that the corner market is developing a little bit more for free agency. By the time the draft rolls around, you're going to see a lot of people, not really going to the corner market as much as they were in the first round last year. So those are a few of the guys that I would definitely keep tabs on. Looking into the later rounds, if the Chargers are planning on going cornerback in the draft, which I could very well see that they would spend a mid-round draft pick on.
Yeah, I would think mid-round, nothing too high, though. Now, Tyvon Branch got released by the Raiders. Most people think that if you can't play the secondary for the Raiders, you probably shouldn't be in the NFL. But what are your thoughts on maybe the Chargers bringing him in as a safety to replace Gilchrist if Gilchrist doesn't get re-signed? And second part to that, do you think that Gilchrist will get re-signed by the Chargers?
For Tyvon Branch, it's interesting for him. He's got one thing working for him and then one thing working against him. He's still in a good prime of his career where he can make something happen at his age. His problem is that he is coming off of a big time injury that cost him a lot of the 2014 season. He was actually one of the higher paid safeties last year. I believe it was around just over $7 million, and he's definitely not worth that now. And I'm sure his injury is definitely going to give teams a little bit of wiggle room to negotiate a much lower contract for whoever brings him to sign him. So you do have something working in your advantage there if you're the Chargers. Of course, if he's healthy, he can definitely be a pretty good playmaker back there. It doesn't necessarily mean because he played for Oakland that he can't play. It's definitely an option that I think the Chargers could look at. My personal opinion, I got into a lot of conversation with some of the Chargers fans during the week. Some of the big news, about Devin McCourty not being franchised. He's going to be commanding $8 to $10 million a year. Obviously, the most biggest sought-after free agent safety on the market. You had Bernard Pollard, who got released by the Tennessee Titans. Mine that nobody else seems to be looking at that really, to me, makes the most sense is Raheem Moore from the Denver Broncos. This kid's 25 years old. He's 6'1". He's bigger than any of the other safeties that are on the current Chargers roster right now. He had a great 2014, played all 16 games, 43 tackles, 4 interceptions, and the biggest thing here, in my opinion, if you start connecting the dots, the defensive back coach of the San Diego Chargers is Ron Miles, who was also Raheem Moore's defensive backs coach while he was in Denver. So you do have a smooth transition there. So, and he's not going to be really had for that much money. I believe he only cost 1.4 against Denver Broncos cap last year. So he can be had at a very high price or a very fair price for what it's going to be. I would personally, if it were me, I think it may be time to move on from Marcus Gilchrist. Raheem Moore would actually be at a fair price where I think that the Chargers should target and spend their free agent money around a little bit other positions.
Hey, Jake, straying away from corners again, I'm sorry, I got to ask you this. Today, the Steelers said that they were not willing to re-sign Troy Polamalu. I'm a huge fan of Troy Polamalu. I think he adds an element to your defense with experience, toughness. He's a guy you'd want in the secondary just because of his veteran leadership. He kind of reminds me of a Junior Seau late in his career, even though he's not as athletic as he used to be. I could still see him flying over lines, tackling running backs in the backfield before they've even handed the ball off. So for me, I'd like to see him in a powder blue jersey. Maybe the second time around we get him. What's your thoughts on that? And is he an upgrade over Addae, bringing the experience with him?
It's a blessing and a curse whenever you hear Troy Polamalu's name because you always link him to Sammy Davis whenever it comes to San Diego Chargers.
Exactly.
Yes.
But to me, at this stage in Polamalu's career, he's like a Bob Sanders. Bob Sanders was when he played a short time for the Chargers. He's just at that point where he's just too injury prone now. And to me, Jaleel can develop into a little bit of a Troy Polamalu, a younger Troy Polamalu himself, at the age that he's at and the type of play that he's been putting out from one season to the next. So I know that, you look at Polamalu's highlight reel for what he's done for that defense for just over a decade. And, of course, the name and the physicality and the attitude, you think that's a beneficiary there. But that injury concern for what he's dealt with over the last few years is just too much to take on. I think it's too big of a risk to put in the Chargers secondary in that aspect.
As you were saying that, Darren, in the chat room, his exact words were gross. We've played that game with Bob Sanders already. So he was thinking the same thing that you were there, Jake. Now, on the Chargers roster currently, are there any potential starters? Let's just say that for some reason the Chargers don't bring back Shareef Wright. For some reason they don't bring back Brandon Flowers. Is there anybody that has potential starting ability on the Chargers roster right now, or are they going to have to go outside and try and find somebody else?
If you lose Shareef Wright and you lose Brandon Flowers, it's almost a given that you have to go out and target a big time, and really in this case, veteran defensive back to bring in. I don't think you can really hand the reins over to just Jason Barrett and Steve Williams and have Chris Davis man the slot position. I think your secondary is going to be severely weakened if that happens. So if you're looking outside the lines, a lot of the people that have been chatting out there as far as potential cornerback targets for the Chargers, you got Chris Culliver from the San Francisco 49ers, and you got Buster Skrine from the Cleveland Browns. And Chris Culliver, I think, actually fits the mold as a bigger defensive back. All three of the Chargers cornerbacks last year were at least 5'9". They were a very small group of cornerbacks. Chris Culliver's a little bit bigger. He's at that 6-foot range. And he had quietly a great season for the San Francisco 49ers. 48 tackles, 4 interceptions, 1 forced fumble. Diana DeSarli from NBC Washington actually said that they're expecting a big-time deal for him, whoever is looking to sign him. So he's definitely going to get paid as well as Buster Skrine. He's seeking $6.5 million. He's still in his prime at 26 years old. It's all going to really depend. Do the Chargers want to invest in their secondary that much for the fact that they already have Eric Weddle at a $7.5 million contract alone?
Sorry, I'm in the chat room. The chat room's going crazy, by the way, Jake. I don't know if you can see it or not, but we thank all of you guys. There's a lot of new people in the chat room right now, ladies included. We appreciate everything that you guys are chiming in about as we continue to talk about the defensive backs with Jake Hefner from ProFootballSpot.com.
We mentioned Jaleel Addae. He's still, of course, a member of the team. Is this the year that he comes up and he solidifies himself at that other safety? I know we talked about possibly signing some other safeties, but maybe is that a position that we might already have on the roster, do you think? Or do you think the Chargers will be looking outside?
I think first and foremost, they will look at Jaleel no matter really who it is that they really end up bringing in. Always dependent on that. It's let's just say hypothetically, if you brought in a Devin McCourty, okay, that's really no question. Jaleel's going to have to take a back seat to that. But it doesn't sound like the type of Tom Telesco type move when you already have a lot of money wrapped up in your big name safety in Eric Weddle already. So I think that the work that Jaleel has done, coming from an undrafted free agent to where he is now, and bringing that physical type of attitude that he has to that defensive secondary, I think he deserves all the opportunities in the world to solidify his position next to Eric in the secondary and really bring that hard-hitting type safety that the Chargers have been looking for ever since Rodney Harrison left. I think he has all the talent in the world to be that guy.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Jaleel. Every time he's out there, it just seems like he has a nose for the football, whether it's making plays, tackling, knocking the ball free. I just think he has such a nose for the football and such a unique talent and a force that, with him and Weddle back there, I mean, they're a big reason why our passing attack was so improved this year. Obviously, Flowers played a big part of that. It's going to be exciting to see these guys hopefully all back, including Verrett. I mean, we haven't talked about Verrett really a whole lot during the segment, but he's a huge part of this secondary and the success of the secondary. We only had him a few games and hopefully a full year out of him. But you had mentioned, a couple guys stepping away. One was Gilchrist, which, Jason's a huge fan of. Is there anybody in particular, free agent-wise, or maybe through the draft that you think that would be a better option in that dime package?
You're talking in terms of the safety position?
No, as far as, say you had mentioned about Gilchrist, potentially not being here. Who could you see step up in that role, whether it be a free agent, somebody that's already currently on the roster, or through the draft?
I would say that, and this is where you're going to have to look when you talk about addressing a position. So if Gilchrist does walk from the Chargers in the off season, behind him, you really are going to have to bring up that depth in some form or fashion because the safety market in the draft this year is so weak. I think you have to look at throwing the money in this case, not a lot of it, but some of it. You've got to look at the free agents that are going to be available. And like I said, Raheem Moore, I think, would be a quality free agent that would be in the middle of the pack. You're not really going to be spending a ton of money at him as you would, obviously, if you were bringing in a Devin McCourty. You have a Bernard Pollard. The thing with him is, we all know how physical Bernard can be. But he's at age 30, and he's getting up there. You want to have a little bit more youth into that secondary. So those are a couple of guys that I think that the Chargers would definitely entertain the idea of possibly bringing in. It's really just all going to have to, really rely on what happens with Brandon Flowers. I think that's going to have to be the first domino that's going to fall. Whether he stays or whether he goes is going to really reflect how the rest of the defensive back of the Chargers is going to shape out for 2015.
Now, Jake, I know we're talking DBs this week, but we always, how we are. We don't really stick to anything very well. You wrote a fantastic article on ProFootballSpot.com about Dwight Freeney, and when the article was over, I it looked to me like you pretty much figure he's gonna retire. But I wanted to actually hear it from you. Is that what your final take was on Dwight Freeney? That was his last season, or do you think he's going to make a one more year run at the NFL?
Well, obviously, when I posted up that article, that was last Friday, and of course, like most news does, it tends to burn a journalist's opinion by the athlete going out and doing the exact opposite. Obviously, Dwight came out this week and he said that he's not done yet. He still has a little bit left in the tank and wants to go at it for a 14th season. I really don't know what's going to happen with Dwight if he's got that motivation to do that. A lot of players come out and can say, I want to give it another go. I'm not thinking about retirement. And then everything can change in the blinking of an eye when you really see what your free agency value is worth. And if you're one of these guys that just so happens to be going into the twilight of their career, obviously Dwight's going to want to go to a place where he can win now. I don't think that the Chargers are, as much as they're hurting at the linebacking position, I don't think they're going to bring him back. I really think that they're going to revitalize the linebackers through the free agent and the draft class. I think that's actually their biggest position to really focus on in the offseason. But for Dwight, if he doesn't get picked by any of these big-name teams that are going to be going out and, really contending for a Super Bowl in 2015, unless he's called upon due to an injury from somebody else during the season, I don't think that his market value is going to be what he really expects it is. And whoever it is may not give him the opportunity to win a championship. So in my gut, something just tells me that somewhere down the line, Dwight's going to see that, and he's going to hang him up.
Yeah, I actually agree. As much as we liked having him on the team, and watching him last year, he really didn't give us much more production than an undrafted rookie, would have given us out there. And he played a lot of snaps, and you would have think that from as many snaps as he played, we would have got a little bit more production out of him. And I think that, like in most sports in the NFL, when you lose just that, even a quarter of a step, that's all it takes. And if you can't get to the quarterback, if you're just a quarter second late, that sack has turned into a 20-yard gain. And I think that he experienced that last year.
Yeah, it's kind of it's really hard to look at when you look at all the things that Dwight Freeney has accomplished through his tenured career. To see this kind of be, the last riding off into the sunset for him. But to his credit, he has accomplished virtually everything that a player in the NFL can do. He has won a Super Bowl ring. He came in and was a defensive player of the year in just his second season. He set a rookie record for sacks in a certain number of games when he came into the league in 2002. I mean, it was ridiculous, the type of things that Dwight was doing. And, of course, invented the all-popular Spinneroonie move, which really revitalized a lot of the moves that you see now. It's atypical with outside linebackers and defensive ends on how they attack quarterbacks. So Dwight was a big piece of really giving a different type of look to a pass rusher through the early years of the 2000s. And he's had a really historic career. He's got a lot of credentials to his name. In my opinion, I think that he should eventually one day go into the Hall of Fame. I think he has those accolades to prove that. It's really going to just come down to what it is that he wants and if he really feels that this is the right time to go. But it's difficult for a player in that type of position, and it's hard for fans to really watch it from the sidelines to see them make that type of decision.
So, Jake, kind of transitioning into our next segment, but I want to hear your take on this. SoCal Trav, a.k.a. the mayor, stood up for us at the Save the Bolts meeting there, rally at Qualcomm. Kind of side note here, how vital is it, for the Chargers to maintain their fans, whether it's here in San Diego or, God forbid, they do go to L.A.? How vital is it for them to be successful in the next season or two as this whole plan runs its course for a new stadium? How vital is it for them to put a winner out there to maintain and build on their fan base?
Real quick, I'll single out SoCal Trav, echoing from one Orange County resident to another. He is 100% right when he says that L.A. is a dump.
Okay. Yes, sir.
And on that,
you got to hashtag that in all your tweets now. L.A. is a dump. vote for the mayor.
But how vital is it? I mean, I speak of this with Brandon Flowers, keeping him on this roster, adding other, star type names. Maybe it's Adrian Peterson, maybe it's somebody else, but putting a product on the field that can put butts in the seats, a la what the Padres have done, this offseason with bringing some big names and their ticket sales have gone through the roof. How vital is it that the Chargers follow suit, whether they stay here in San Diego and continue to build their fan base or move on?
Everything that you could put on paper, and whether it's going out and signing a big name free agent, getting things that are attractive, because we've seen this whole formula before. We saw what Denver tried to do by bringing in guys like T.J. Ward and DeMarcus Ware and all these big name free agents that they were bringing in, and Emmanuel Sanders. And while it was good, it didn't ultimately end up winning them a championship. With the Chargers, it's a different type of formula because we've gone out there and we've spent the big-time money before, and we made things interesting when A.J. Smith went on that little free agency spurge when he brought a lot of these names into when the Chargers weren't normally signing a lot of free agents, and that didn't really work, and it didn't really bring a boost to the fan base in general. The easiest formula for anything like that, if you want the fans to be there, is to win. And I know that it's difficult to hear that just because of the situation that the current city is in with the stadium issue. But in reality, the fans showed up on Monday, and the true fans echoed their feelings and what the San Diego Chargers mean to that city and the heartbeat that they have to the fans, the connection that they have for what they do in the community. So the fans are obviously there. It's up to the team and it's up to the organization now to figure out how to keep them. And then whether that's from a corporate standpoint for building a new stadium or whether it's from the actual play of the team to win for that city that deserves it very much, one of the two is going to have to happen.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, it's extremely vital not only for, the Charger fans to, want to see a quality product out there, but I think it's vital for the organization, because let's be honest, guys, it's all about the money. As much as we want to see them here in San Diego, and we hope they are, I think they can be very valuable here in San Diego, but it's going to take, putting a product on there and showing that you really do care about your fan base and you want a winning product out there.
Hey, Jake, one more question before you go. Newcomer Garrett in the chat room. After Dunlap, Chargers looking at around $25 million to spend in free agency. How are you spreading that money, and what would be your off-season plan? Curious. He just wants a little synopsis of what you think after the Dunlap signing.
I'll go ahead and I'll eliminate positions right now that I wouldn't go after. Running back, I'm not even taking a look at. As far as free agency goes, you're not going to spend that type of money on a free agency running back. I would rather actually have Ryan Matthews back on a 1-year incentive-related deal that's much cheaper than what these running backs are going to get paid for and solidify that backfield from there on. I know that's not a popular decision because we've all been through the Ryan Matthews saga for the last 5 years, but as a wise move for how I would spend my cap, I would really put more of my focus of my free agency money towards building up your linebacking core and along your defensive line. Because especially if Dwight Freeney chooses to either retire or he's not back with the Chargers, your linebacking core is now Melvin Ingram, Jerry Atauchu, Tariq Williams. There has to be more there. Yes. There is no way these three guys can come in there and expect to put pressure on the quarterback when they couldn't do it with a seasoned veterans like Dwight Freeney and a Jarrett Johnson. So you have to build that unit up. Parnell McPhee from Baltimore, I would definitely throw some consideration out towards him. And Dominican Sue, along the beat, look, let's just get this over with right now. There's no way that in this universe that the Chargers are going to have enough cap room or even possible to free up anybody with big enough cap numbers to bring him in and expect your defense to still be able to survive by just concentrating on one player with that type of cap number hit to your free agency mark. It's just not going to happen. But you got Haloti Ngata that's out there that's now possibly going to be a free agent. He's definitely somebody that I think that the Chargers could bring in for sure. We had talked about who was the defensive tackle from the Cardinals. I believe it was
Darnell Dockett.
It was either Darnell Dockett or Dan Williams.
Oh, Dan Williams. Okay.
Yeah, Dan Williams.
These are a little bit lower defensive moves to where you can spread out your money in multiple different positions because the Chargers are not one or two players away from a championship here. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
They have a lot of needs everywhere, and whether that's addressed in free agency or a draft, they have to still spend their money wisely.
Yes.
Sam G in the chat room, he says free agency is going to dictate the draft. Hard to disagree with that, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, it's really going to dictate it as far as what it is you're going to target. You can't really put all of your eggs in the same basket and expect to say if you don't want to go for a corner in free agency that you're going to be expecting one of these young guys that's in the draft from day one to start and be a huge impact player on your team. Some of those positions, you just don't have the luxury of doing that because the draft class is weaker in other places or is stronger in other places than others. So you have to go out and you have to solidify certain positions that you know you're not going to have a good opportunity at in April to get some of these premier-type players.
Jake, the chat room is going crazy. I wish you could see this. There's so many, so much information and so much questions. We appreciate all you guys joining in the chat room.
Can I get in Trav's question really quick before we let Jake go?
Absolutely.
Jake, Trav wants to know your thoughts on Ajayi from Boise State. I personally don't like him since I'm an Aztec fan, and I saw him firsthand gash our defense. But what are your thoughts as an observer from the outside?
I like him a lot. I really do. I think he is absolutely the type of prototypical running back that you would expect the Chargers to go after. He doesn't have all the flash that a Telvin Gordon or a Melvin Gordon or I'm getting my names confused all of a sudden here.
You're okay. Gurley and Melvin Gordon.
Gordon, yes. He doesn't get as much flash as those guys are, obviously, but the real big thing you look at with Ajay is his receiving ability out of the backfield. I mean, not only can he torch you on the ground, he's got great vision, great cutback angles, but his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and create yards after the catch. This was something that Ryan Matthews struggled for a little while, was not really able to break off big chunks of yardage until a little bit later into his playing career. But if the Chargers can bring back their screen game, along with a little bit of what they attack with Danny Woodhead in the game, if you can add two types of backs that do that, that's very dynamic. And then just alone for what Jay can do on the ground with his feet alone, taking it from the backfield, you open up a big enough hole for him and he's gone. I think he would be a great value pickup in the second round for sure. So I love the idea of possibly bringing him in.
All right, Jake, it's that time as far as your next homework assignment, and that is the special teams. We've kind of ran through the offense and the defense, and now the third and arguably one of the most vital aspects of this football team and football in general is the special teams, from the kicking game to field goal kicking to kicking coverage. So it's going to be a tough task for you going into next week to really shed some light on our special teams and where you think they can improve. I think was it Jacoby Jones was one name that's been thrown out there. So that and amongst more, we're excited to hear what you have to say next week.
Always looking forward to it, and just so I know, what follows after we're done with all of the positions?
Well, I think that one of the things I wanted to maybe talk about was what we thought about the head coach and the general manager. What we thought the move so far Telesco has made, and I thought we'd maybe get into some of that.
Okay. All right. Sounds like a plan.
Right on, Jake. This is Jake Hefner from ProFootballSpot.com. Each and every week joining in on our show. Jake, we thank you for your time as always, man. We love your insight, and I think our fans do too. So can't wait to talk to you next week, and hopefully sooner than later we'll meet up with you again and have a brew, huh?
Yeah, you guys are just going to have to come up on the other side, but you go up and above, Alaska now.
Yeah.
So, my timeshare,
You're on another continent, man.
It's awesome.
It's just the market's just too good right now. I couldn't pass up the rate, and I had to do something with it, so I just went further north.
Well, just buy a coat, man.
Yeah, you know what? I'm fully equipped up here with everything to keep me warm, which is nice. But for sure, we're going to be grabbing that drink.
Yes, sir. Hey, thanks, Jake.
Right on, Jake. Have a good evening.
You too, guys.
All right, guys. When we come back, you're going to have to tune in after the break because we are going to hear from Mayor SoCal Trav, and what he had to say at the Save the Bolts rally. So stay tuned for more Chargers talk.
Separated. Hey, the man you disrespect me. You gotta keep them separated. Hey, make them mine. We're rendering team. We'll be doing it.
Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site.
1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want.
Got a player who's hurt? No problem.
Injuries won't derail your shot at victory because it's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players.
Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash.
This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000. Another turned $2 into $10,000.
And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com.
You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings.
Head to DraftKings.com now and use promo code Spreaker to play free in the $10 million Fantasy Football World Championships.
DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter Spreaker now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
You need help with your business project that is due? Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 858-408-0732. SK Digital Imaging, from business cards to the bigger projects. SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right.
All right, guys, we are back. I want to thank everybody. This has been one of the most popular chat rooms of recent memory. We got 596 comments so far in the chat room, and over 38 people listening in, and we thank each and every one of you for your entertainment. Actually, I checked that back. We're at 50 listens now for our live show, which has got to be close to one of our best. So we really appreciate each and every one of you guys. I just want to shout out really quick Charlie in the chat room. There's a lot of banter going back and forth, and if you haven't heard our commercials, we're looking for writers right now. Whether you want to talk Chargers, Padres, Aztecs, San Diego Gulls, we're a show for fans, by the fans. Visit our website, SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com. You can hit up Mikey on Twitter at Mike_SDSJ. He's our lead editor and writer. He will get you going, man. We'd love to have you write some articles for us. D. Fox in the chat room, he's writing articles for us. And anybody else who's listening or in the chat room, if you want to write for us, get in touch with us. You can email us, sportsjunkies@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Twitter. We're all for it, guys. We're all about the fans. We're all about you in the chat room, and we want to hear what you have to say. We got a quick clip from the mayor, SoCal Trav. Really quick, we want to play for you at the Save the Bolts rally, and then we're going to hear from himself right after this.
My name is Travis Pollard. I actually don't live in San Diego at all. I'm actually from Orange County, and I'm more than happy to send you money for every stadium out of my own dollars, because I want the Chargers to stay in San Diego. That way it's gone. I'm also one of the founding members of the Diamond Bolt Club, which is on Twitter, San Diego Sports Junkies. We do want to stay here. I think this is a perfect spot right here. You got transportation, public transportation, easy access to freeways, plus tailgating. Without football, you have to have tailgating. You have to have tailgating to go with football. So Let me know where I can send my money to keep the Chargers here. You let me know. I'll send you a check tonight. Thank you very much.
All right, SoCal Trav, welcome to the show. We just laid out your clip there so everybody can hear what you had to say at the Save the Bolts rally. And I think everybody wants to hear more of what your plan is as the mayor, the future mayor of San Diego, to get this deal done.
What's up, guys? How are you tonight?
What up, dude?
Hey, thanks for throwing us out there. We appreciate everything that you do for the show, Trav, and it was really cool that you mentioned us there when you had your what everybody had 30 or 60 seconds to speak or whatever, and that was real cool that you threw us out there. We thought that was really great.
Well, I gotta give props to you guys. I'm not gonna give it to the short stuff.
Jeez.
Anyways,
so I mean, obviously, for those of you that weren't down there, some numbers fluctuated. Some people said there was 2,500 people down there, 5,000. Either way, the people that did come down to the stadium there, and no offense to Jason or Mike, I know a lot of people had plans. It was a Monday at 5 o'clock when people were gathering up. But those were the true diehard fans down there, really supporting the Chargers and really showing that they want them to stay. And, SoCal Trav, I mean, he tried everything, guys, to get up there and talk. He took one of our business cards and played off like he was a media member trying to get on there. Yeah. I mean, it was classic. But honestly, Trav, I mean, you do so much for the San Diego Sports Junkies. For the Die Hard Bolt Club. We really appreciate everything that you do, and for having the cojones to go up there and talk in front of the committee and really tell them not only what it is to be a Chargers fan, but it means a lot coming from somebody who doesn't live in the city of San Diego as well.
Well, it's our team. I've been a Charger fan since I came out of my mom's womb. Already 40 years ago.
And, well, you're a man. You're 40.
And the reason I became a Charger fan, I was probably 4 years old, 3-4 years old, and our family was big football fans. My family was all Rams fans, LA Rams fans, and I thought they had the raddest helmets, man. The Lightning Bolt was this bitch, and I'm like, that's my team right there, and I haven't looked back since. So they're definitely my team. They will be the team till my casket drops. So.
Yeah, you know what's funny, Trav? Well, I thought it was great was seeing you in that video. That's you, man. You didn't try to be uptight or professional about it. You were just like, I'm Trav. This is me, and this is what I gotta say, bitches.
Where do I send my check?
Where do I send my check?
That was the best part. I mean, LA is a dump, got everybody laughing, but where do I send my check? And it was like, mic drop, I'm out.
Now, Travis, in all seriousness, having that meeting down there, having people speak and all of that stuff and the rally and people making noise and stuff, do you think that stuff like that actually is going to make a difference on whether or not the Chargers stay or go?
Well, when I got a face, I have to give props to Mr. Fox. Actually, Mr. Fox went on me up the escalator the other night, so it was good. So I give him props for swirling me in there and also videotaping my interview with the elite gentlemen that were on the bench, so to speak, like a jury looking at everybody talking. So, Mr. Fox, thank you, sir. I would say I don't know how good it's going to do. I know one guy did actually hand in a proposal, an actually legitimate proposal. He was some real estate developer who actually handed the CSAG a proposal. So I don't know if that's going to go anywhere at all. And he was also the same guy that said he's got a friend that can actually, I guess his buddy owns some kind of construction company / real estate flipping company that could actually refurbish the entire Qualcomm Stadium for $300 to $400 million if it'll be brand new. So they've got options. It's just a matter of the city actually doing it. The city seems to be scared, the Chargers aren't going to leave. I don't think they really think the Chargers are going to leave. I think because they've been there saying it for the last 14 years, we're leaving, and they continue to stay. I think they think they're going to stay around, and they're not going to stay around. They're going to go, especially now with Goldman Sachs saying they're going to front the entire bill for them to move to L.A., build their stadium, pay for all their lost revenue costs for the first few years that they're in L.A., what owner would turn that down? I mean, that's a lot of money that doesn't have to come out of Spano's pocket to get a free stadium and free revenue, and everything's covered for like the first 4 or 5 years. So I think they took it seriously from listening to people. It's just a matter if they act upon it. That's the big thing. If they need to act quick, and they know it. And I don't know if they want to be known as the CSAG in the mayor office that let another team go from San Diego to Los Angeles.
Absolutely. I agree completely, and I think it would be, if the Chargers do go up to L.A., we're all going to be upset. We're all going to be pissed. But for me, I would blame San Diego, and I would blame the mayors, and I would blame the city council. I wouldn't blame the Spanos family. I think, honestly, they don't want to go. And if they go, it's because we gave them absolutely no options to stay here, There's a lot of people that say, oh, he's just a rich guy, and he's taking his ball and he's leaving.
I'm so tired of hearing that.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of people going, why do I want to make an owner richer? And this, he's already rich, guys.
Yeah.
He's not getting. Who cares? That bugs me. Oh, I'm not going to give a $1 million billionaire more money.
Well,
you already got $1 billion.
Somebody else will.
Somebody else will, and a city will. And I know Trav agrees with that. It's just they will up and leave. They will effing up and leave. And that's why it's so frantic right now. That's why you see people rallying and trying to get some momentum. But, yeah, it's tough, man. This city makes everything difficult to do, and there's roadblocks around every single corner.
Yeah.
Hey, Trav.
And that's why the Clippers left. They didn't get an arena built, so they're like out of here. Gone. L.A. They get Staples Center. So the Padres probably would have left too if they didn't get a new ballpark.
Yep. I remember they were talking about the Padres leaving.
Yeah.
Hey, Trav. So you had an ingenious idea, and I know it was kind of a joke, but maybe as fans, maybe we can rally together and start a new revolution. That fundme.com, I think it was. I mean, do you think that could be a serious thing? Do you think that enough Charger fans could rally together to say, here, look, we've just put together $5 million of our own money. Let's get this shit going.
I think we could try it. It doesn't hurt to try. I mean, anybody, if there's the fans, I mean, because first of all, the thing is, inside that room the other night, everybody agrees it needs to go to a county-wide vote, not just a city vote. They definitely need the county involved because now San Diego State, I don't know if you guys heard, is stepping up too now because they know that if Qualcomm doesn't get fixed and the Chargers leave, they may not have a place to play football for San Diego State. So they're actually stepping up now and saying stuff, and I think they're trying to get some money involved to help build a new stadium. But it definitely needs to go to a county vote. And I also think, yes, I agree with fundme.com, fundmenow.com. I think could be successful. Just a matter of how you do it and how much money we can get out of it. So I think it would work. It doesn't hurt to try it. All we can do is say we tried. If it fails, it fails. If it works, then we can go walk into the mayor's office and say, here's $10 million that we raised ourselves. Now get your ass off your desk, get your suit and tie off, throw some clothes on.
Get your checkbook.
Get your checkbook and go march down to Chargers Park and tell Dean Spano we got a deal.
Yeah. Hey, Trav, I'm glad you brought up the Aztecs, and I'm glad to hear that they're finally doing something. One of the things I tweeted out, and I knew they weren't going to read it off during the whole CSAG development, but it's not just the Chargers. Like I listed off the Chargers, the Aztecs, the Poinsettia Bowl, the Holiday Bowl, the potential of a national championship game here, the potential of a Super Bowl
Monster
here,
trucks.
Concerts, monster trucks. There's so much
The rodeo! The rodeo!
$38.5 million is generated just from the 2 bowl games that are played here. Could you imagine if you had a national championship game here? Could you imagine if you had a Super Bowl here? How much money the city would make? And that's what everybody needs to start focusing on. It's not just about the Chargers.
No.
It's about the city. And more importantly, it's about the people. Because how many jobs will be lost if the Chargers uproot and go to L.A.? How many people will lose their jobs here in San Diego? How many jobs will be gained if a new Charger stadium is put in place, because they're going to need people to work that stadium, to do the concessions. They're going to need people to do the events that will come to the city that's not currently coming to the city. There's so much positiveness by new stadium going in, and it's not just about the Chargers.
Well, no, and also another thing too is that if they actually, wherever they build it, and obviously the downtown side, I don't know if you guys read today that Dean Spanos actually said he realizes now that the downtown side is probably much off the table.
Right.
Knowing all the issues with the transportation authority down there with their bus problem, and there's no infrastructure for transportation right to the stadium like there is at Qualcomm. They need to figure it out. I agree. It has to be done, and if they don't do something soon, it's going to kill us all. And it pisses me off every time we got to talk about it. But the big thing, if they put a retractable roof on the new stadium, there's one thing that could happen there that nobody brought up on Monday night at the open forum, and it will bring in probably billions of dollars in revenue to the city. Is hosting a Democratic or Republican national convention, because that brings in billions of dollars, not millions, billions of dollars.
Well, and somebody kind of brought up the whole Dallas stadium. They've had well over 100 events throughout the year at that stadium, from as little as a peewee, football games being played there. There's the spectrum is so broad of events that can be at this new stadium that currently won't go to the current Jack Murphy / Qualcomm site because it's just not safe. It's run down. I mean, we were sitting out there, Trav, and water's dripping on our heads while we're sitting there trying to show our support for a new stadium. These things with the new stadium would go away. These issues would go away. These hurdles would go away, and all these events would come to San Diego. And somebody even said it, too. We get a new stadium, we'd probably have not one but 2 Super Bowls inside of 5 to 10 years.
We're in the rotation, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree, because it is. If you really think about it, I mean, besides Arizona, I mean, with Phoenix Stadium, those are really the 2 best places in this entire country to host a Super Bowl, because the weather is fantastic 365 days a year, and you can't go wrong. Anywhere else, I mean, look like last year, or the year before, not last year, but the year before, they put it in New York, and they were calling for blizzard conditions for the game, and it ended up not snowing, but it was buck cold. Who the hell wants to spend $6,000 and
that's what they were saying.
Below 0 temperatures to watch a fucking Super Bowl?
Right.
Yeah, that's what they were saying during this year's Super Bowl. If the game would have been played in New York last year at that same time, they would have been under 4 feet of snow because the weather was terrible.
Well, if you remember, the last time the Super Bowl was here in San Diego, they just raved about how awesome it was and how great everything was, and the commissioner said, we would love to have more Super Bowls here, but we cannot have it at this stadium anymore because the stadium,
it's just unsuitable.
Yeah, everybody talks about, LA is a dump, LA is a dump. Well, you know what's a dump? Qualcomm Stadium's a dump right now.
And San Diego's acting like they can't afford anything, and they're not America's finest city. That's what I hate. Yeah. It's a prideful city,
Well, and here's the other thing.
8th largest city in the country, and they still can't get their shit together.
And here's the other thing, what a lot of people don't realize, too, is the city gains a lot of financial money out of a stadium being built and all these events coming to the city. And that money will go towards the kids, the schools, fixing our roads. It's going to go towards all these other things that people said, I don't want to spend my money on the stadium. We need to fix our streets. We need to fix our schools. Well, guess what, people? A new stadium comes in. All these new events come in that we don't have now. It's going to generate income so we can help the kids, so we can fix the roads. It's incredible, the fact that the people doesn't understand this. But, Trav, we need to cut this short. There's Garrett in the chat room who has an angle that wants to let us know about the Indy situation that we're interested in hearing. So we're going to let you go, but we love to hear you each and every week, my friend.
We love what you do for us.
All right, guys. Well, and we got to get together soon for a brouhaha. I know Brian wants to get together, so does Juan. So
let's do it.
We got to figure out a day and time to do that. We can talk some more. But you have a good week, guys. And as I always close every week is go Bolts.
Go Bolts, my friend.
Thanks, brother.
So that opens up our phone line, either Garrett or Sloppy Joe, 619-866-4567. Let's continue to, talk about what you guys want to talk about. I mean,
so what was it like? Mike and I were under the weather. We weren't able to make it out there.
Right.
You guys did go. You guys represented for us. So what was it like down there at the event? Was it really cool? Was there
It was good. There was a good feel for it. I mean, it was kind of like being at a football game. The fans were really, riled up. But, I expected a bigger, group of fans showing up.
Yeah.
I think we got a phone call coming in here. Yeah. I believe this is Garrett. Garrett, welcome to the show.
Hey, how'd you guys know?
Caller ID, my friend. Caller ID. It's a wonderful thing.
How you guys doing over there?
We're doing great, man. So you had mentioned in our chat room something about Indy getting a stadium built. Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I have a podcast I do myself, and I came on here because I want to support you guys. I'm a big fan of Chargers podcast, anything San Diego. I think everybody should listen to everything. I'm a big fan of you guys, and I think we're all just a big family.
What's your podcast name, real quick, Garrett, and shout it out real quick.
Oh, I don't need it. This isn't about shouting out the podcast.
Well, I know, but just so people are familiar with you, that's cool.
Yeah, we do. I do a Chargers podcast called the Lightning Round podcast. I do it with partner Jamie Hoyer. We both write for Cover 32 Chargers.
Nice.
But that wasn't the reason I called or came on. I came on the chat room to kind of give Jake some grief earlier, but I wanted to come on and support you guys because I think we're all one big happy family. And,
absolutely.
Support you guys 100%.
Well,
we appreciate that.
Support is awesome.
We appreciate. Were you out at the rally?
No, I was not. No, we are part of the whole Save Our Boats organization. We're helping out and supporting them and sponsoring them, but we did not make it out. No.
So, Garrett, could you tell us a little bit? Like I said, more about explaining what you meant about the Indy thing, because I know some of us in the chat room, and I'm kind of curious to see what that was. Like, what was there? How did they make their stadium come true?
So basically, what happened is they said they couldn't get anything passed. It was the same thing that was happening here in San Diego. It's a stadium. People are going, I don't want to build, a big old stadium in the middle of this, because this happened in downtown Indianapolis. And they go, we've got a great downtown, which is not as good as our downtown here in San Diego, but still a pretty good downtown.
Right.
And they didn't want to clutter up the space. They didn't want this big, massive stadium. So what they did is, and this was really, really important, is they called it a multi-purpose facility. There's no word of stadium. It was basically like, hey, listen, it's multi-purpose. Forget about football. That's going to happen 10 weeks out of the year.
Right.
8 home games, 2 preseason.
Agreed.
Forget that. We're saying concerts. Now we have everything we want to have. Any big event is going to happen here at this multi-purpose facility. So basically, now they have, not only at Lucas Oil, they have the football games, but they have NCAA, the Final Four is going to be there. They have all the big events there. And it's right smack dab in the middle of downtown. And what happened is they basically drummed up so much business there in downtown with the bars and everything that they have almost tripled their business with all that, everybody there in downtown. So they got the bars in on it, and they just said, hey, listen, this is good for you. This is good for the city. Let's push this thing through. And they helped push it through. So because, the big thing that people don't like is that there's no tailgating if they do it downtown. But if you go to these bars and drink there beforehand, or you go to, all these different restaurants and you have something to eat there, you're putting into the city.
Right.
So that was kind of their whole model, is not calling it a stadium, because that's like some kind of bad word for whatever reason.
Right.
So
Politically.
Don't like football. Politically, they don't want to hear the word stadium.
No, that's bad. That's bad.
It's word vomit.
Guju, man.
And that's one thing that's funny you bring up, because, I think it's become a battle between those who want the Chargers, who care about football, and those who care about not paying taxes or not having to deal with this whole issue. So I don't know. Do you have any idea of how, maybe what task force or the mayor's office or someone should do to change the thinking in this town of, either you're for football or you're against football?
See, I mean, that's where it comes in. If you say that it's not if you say stadium, it's a sports thing.
Right.
If you say multi-purpose facility, it's anything. You know, like One Direction's coming, you know, into San Diego. You put them in the stadium. That has nothing to do with football,
Right.
and it's terrible music, but a lot of people go to see it. And so if you get all these, you know, 12 to 16-year-old girls inside of
Right.
this multi-purpose facility,
You get
it
that-
has nothing. These girls don't care about football, but they care about seeing One Direction, so why
Right.
not put them there in the stadium?
Backstreet
So-
Boys reunion tour.
Whatever. it is.
Exactly.
Whatever, you know, hopefully it'll be more like, you know, Paul McCartney, who came to Petco earlier
Right.
in the year. They can go to this multi-purpose facility, quote unquote, and put it there, and it's basically the wording. If you put something on the bill, if you have to get a vote,
Right.
and you put something and you list the word stadium, it's not going to get through. But if you say something like because they won't read past the word stadium.
Right.
If you say something like multi-purpose facility, which Indianapolis did, they made sure and were very calculated in saying, I think that is a pretty good way of changing the voters' mind, because it's not a football thing. It's a city of San Diego holding multiple events inside of this facility.
So really, it's all about the marketing of this thing, and maybe they need to change their marketing approach here. Now,
absolutely.
Do you think it's too late to make that switch, or do you think that can still be changed?
I think it absolutely can be changed. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
It is kind of late because it is, you know, right now it's the stadium debate right now. But if you do come back with a new plan, because, you know, right now they're saying we're coming up with a new plan. Task Force is getting together. We're coming up with new ideas. If this new idea says, hey, listen, it's not a stadium anymore. This is a multi-purpose facility. And I know I'm like, you know, I've used the word multi-purpose facility like a million times.
Right.
Why don't we call it Dean's World? That would be awesome. That would be great.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that'd be badass.
So,
Dean's World.
Whatever. As long as it doesn't have stadium in it,
Right.
it doesn't matter.
Well,
Call it whatever you want.
I like what you're doing.
So I think because there is a quote unquote new plan coming in right now, people will look at it as a new idea. They're looking at it and going at it a different direction. And if you say something that doesn't include the word stadium, I think that it is. You can still get that through, and I don't think it is too late.
Yeah, I think you're totally on the right page right there, Garrett. I believe that they need to say where the stadium's going to be built, and they need to
Not the stadium.
No, I understand.
Multi-purpose
Dean's
facility.
World. We know.
We're all
we
changing.
know.
We're all changing the way we say it.
Where the multi sports facility is going to be built, they need to pick that area. And they need to start advertising it, and they need to incorporate everybody. Like I was saying before you called in, you know, it's not just about the Chargers. It's about the Aztecs. It's about the other, you know, bowl games, the potential Super
One
Bowl,
Direction.
all the events.
Backstreet Boys World
You
Tour
know,
reunion.
Jason
time.
would love to see Madonna. I mean, it's about all of this that could potentially be here in San Diego that can give revenue to the city, not the Chargers, the city.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, something that Indianapolis did is they ended up raising the hotel tax, too. But that didn't affect them at all because they have a downtown area with a hotel tax. I mean, if we're talking about raising hotel tax, and I know the hotels are really up in arms about raising it, at the end of the day, it's going to be close to $2. Is anybody going to not come to San Diego because their room is $102 instead of $100?
Right,
It's
exactly.
not going to bring anybody. Yeah, it's not going to. And you know, about like a couple of years ago, Vegas ended up raising their hotel tax, and it went up $5. Does anybody stop going to Vegas?
Hell no.
Well, no, you fly in from halfway across the country, and you're like, oh, it's going to be 102. Oh, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm flying back.
I'm out.
Forget it. We're not talking about $100 difference.
Right.
We're talking about dollars. And nobody's going to go, you know what? In the most beautiful city in the world, I'm not going there because $102 is past my limit. Forget it. That's not going to happen.
No, you're exactly right. It's so short-minded in this city. It's
I
terrible.
love it.
You
From
know-
now on, we don't say stadium anymore. It's multi.
No, it's the convention center's big brother.
Multi-purpose facility. I love it, Garrett.
I love it. It's a mouthful, but I love it.
Next time you call in, Garrett, we need a badass nickname for this stadium. We need something to refer it by. Okay, we'll give
Not
you a few
the
days.
stadium.
Yeah,
The multi-purpose facility.
right. for the
Listen, I've been on the
structure.
phone here for 5 minutes, and I've said, don't use the word stadium. You said stadium twice in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We got to break you then, man. We got to break you.
You know
It's
how
terrible.
we're gonna build this multi-purpose facility because we're gonna put a stadium swear jar up in the room here, and anytime somebody says it, they're gonna have to drop $10 in it.
That includes our callers.
I'm gonna put the $2 on being taxed in there.
All right, Gary, we thank you for calling in, man. We hope we can have you call into the show with some great intel more often.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to come on with Jake, man. I got to razz that guy. We're always talking on Twitter, and him and I are pretty close now, and I want to come in and bust his balls a little.
Yeah, man. Bust away. Bust away.
Absolutely. Jake is a great guy, and anybody that's in cahoots with Jake is in cahoots with us, man.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Garrett.
Yeah. I'm a fan of his, too. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Hey, big fan of your podcast, and keep up the good work, guys.
Thanks, bro. Take care. Have a good one.
All right, see ya.
So, guys, that opens up the phone line once again,
Sloppy.
619-866-4567. I know Sloppy Joe in there had some words to say, so, feel free to pick up that phone, Sloppy.
We have breaking news, SDSJ breaking news. Dwayne Poley's checking in at the scores table.
Fantastic.
Dwayne Poley the second. Sorry, breaking news.
How sad was that last game when?
Yeah, he got a little setback.
When we found out that he wasn't going to be suiting up. For
Well, he has that arrhythmic monitor, and I guess there were some irregular readings on there. So it was just precaution, and they want to be extra careful. So, but yeah, it was disappointing because they could have used him last week.
Well, for sure. I mean, early on, the first thing that comes to your mind is, oh God, this is it. He's done.
Right.
He had his chance, and they didn't like what they had to see, and his career, as we know it, for the Aztecs is done.
Yeah.
But it was merely precautionary. They looked into it. They said everything is fine, and he's suited up. So I'm excited because he is a huge, huge factor of what the Aztecs do, especially defensively. He brings an offensive presence, but his defense is tremendous.
Burst of energy.
He is tremendous. He was sixth man of the year last year.
What's his nickname, Josh? The human pogo stick. Come on,
he's
man.
got like 8 nicknames here.
Come on. Trampoline.
We got Sloppy Joe calling in right now.
I think somebody got in before.
Oh, Sloppy. Someone beat you to it.
Dude, you're being sloppy.
And they hung up as well. They got pissed off.
All right, so the phone line is officially open.
It's back open.
Sloppy, I think Trevor here in the chat room was asking what the phone number was. Maybe that was
Sorry,
him.
you guys have to bear with us. We don't have a waiting call system. We
Yeah.
have
It's
one
one at a
line.
time.
We're
Yes.
very cheap here. We don't get paid.
we are.
There's Sloppy Joe right
Sloppy's
there.
back in here.
We're on fundme.com.
Sloppy Joe, what's
Sloppy
up,
Joe.
man?
Hey, what's up?
What's
How you
up,
doing?
man?
How y'all doing?
You gonna
Hey.
talk stadium tonight or what?
Yeah, stadium. I really don't care about none of the other teams. San Diego.
I hear you. What's your thoughts on the stadium, brother?
Well, being from LA, if the Chargers go to LA, automatically we're gonna be like a 4th, 5th pick of a team, especially if the Rams and the Raiders trying to go. So
Right.
I mean, even though I really don't, I've never been to San Diego. I really want to go to San Diego. I heard it's a good city. I think that we should just get this shit together and fucking build a stadium in San Diego, man. Like if you really cherish the Chargers like the mayor said he does and everything like that, like you should be working your hardest to build a stadium or a multi-purpose facility, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, thank you for correcting Justin, by the way.
Whatever.
Not the only one
whatever
guilty.
Whatever you want to call it, I don't care what it is, as long as we got something new to play. And I mean, like y'all was saying, I mean, like Levi Stadium. I'm up here in Northern California. Levi Stadium gets everything. They got bowl games, WWE, the Outside Series. Like that's so much money coming in. And Levi's in like San Francisco. It's actually in Santa Clara, and Santa Clara is it's a dead city. So if you put it in San Diego, you know what I'm saying? Not only are you going to get way more people to come, but San Diego never has bad weather. San Diego is just a beautiful ass city. It'd just be dumb not to put a stadium out there.
Sloppy, really quick, where exactly are you from right now?
I'm in Northern California.
Northern California?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know we were talking in the chat room, so I saw your comments. Do you think LA really wants the Chargers?
No.
See, there you go. It's spoken. Done.
I love the.
I'm talking about somebody being from LA. No, they don't want the Chargers. I mean, they never. I mean, unless you like
100 years old, that's the only time you remember the Chargers being in LA. You know what I'm saying? But you don't. You know what I'm saying? They don't want the Chargers, and like pretty much, the Chargers need to stay in San Diego because the San Diego fans care way more about you. Because in LA you got 2 basketball teams, 2 baseball teams, a hockey team, a soccer team. You know what I'm saying? San Diego, it's its own little community. You got 1 baseball team, 1 football team. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a basketball team, so more people gravitate towards the Chargers. And if you take that away and move it to LA, money or not, even though I don't think it's money because he already hella rich anyway. But if you move that to
exactly.
LA, you just taking away some great loyal fans from a city that they already hate anyway, as y'all made it clear. LA is a dump, even though it's not. But you don't want to go to LA because they become second to the Lakers, the Clippers, the Dodgers, the Angels,
USC,
the Rams if they come,
and
UCLA.
I was going to say the other 2 NFL teams too.
So, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think I think they should stay in San Diego. That's the best thing to do, and I will actually donate some of my own money to keep him in San Diego. I'm not gonna give, you know what I'm saying, a whole bunch of money. I might give him like $20 or something. Like that.
Hey, every bit helps. Every bit helps.
But I wanna stay in San Diego. No matter what you gotta call a facility, they don't want to say it's a stadium. Like it just brings way more revenue and stuff to the stadium. Sorry, on this.
No, you're totally good. Like, before we let you go, I do have one question. Honestly, what do you think in the bottom of your heart? Do you think they stay or do you think they go?
I mean, honestly, my honest opinion, I think that they stay. The reason why I maybe would think that they go is because, I mean, we all know we haven't really won anything lately. We don't have really, I mean, we have, to us, they're amazing players, but we don't have no big name like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, no big name has chosen San Diego in a while, you know what I'm saying? But, I mean, I think the city of San Diego is going to pull it out their ass. Stop fucking around.
I like your demeanor.
If they do go to LA, which I really hope they don't, because it's just going to be a diminished fan base. I just hope that the diehard fans that they say they are don't give up on them. You know what I'm saying, like that. Or maybe if they got to go to LA for 10 years or something like that, like the Raiders, and then come back to just that. But I think San Diego, nobody wants to see them. Me being from LA, I personally I like the Chargers. I don't even want to see them in LA because I just don't want to see them. I just don't want to see them become less of what they earned, and they earned every day. Earned all our respect, and in LA they'll just be a second-tier team.
Hey, thanks for calling, Sly. We appreciate it, man. We're glad that you're back on here, man. It's been too long.
Yeah, we missed you.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be back on. You know, and I kind of, y'all like to talk about the weak ass Padres and shit.
Hey, damn right we do. Hey, it's almost baseball time, Sloppy, man. You call in and you debate us every week. We don't have to agree on it.
Oh, I will, and I will. Best believe, opening day. I will be calling in if y'all do a show about how we beat that ass on opening day.
Stop it! Hey, stop it! Hey, Matt Kemp, 3 for 4, 3 home runs, and a nice win on opening day. How's that sound?
All right, Sloppy,
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
See you
later, brother.
Thank you.
I like that comment, man.
Yeah, that's great.
That was great. Anyways, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break here. If you still want to call in, go ahead and give us a call. We're going to be just finishing up the show with a couple of segments of ourselves, talking, Padres, and just a little bit of Aztec basketball, catching up on the game. But if you want to call in, go ahead. The phone number's there.
619-866-4567. Come back after the break.
4567.
Sorry.
All right.
Are you a San Diego sports fanatic or looking for a user-friendly sports platform to voice your opinion? Then visit us at SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com or message our lead editor on Twitter at Mike_SDSJ. You'll soon be showing the world your passion for San Diego sports on our blog.
Also listen to our live podcast every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. We are a show for fans, by the fans. Talking Chargers, Padres, Aztecs, and anything San Diego sports.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
Big shit poppin', okay, that little shit stop it. Big shit poppin', that's right, that little shit stop it. Ball on these niggas being from the night. And now do it, do it, what you waiting for? Cause I don't do it, I don't do it.
Hey guys, we're back, and I think we got Trevor on the phone. Trevor, is this you?
Yeah, it's me.
What's up, man? Sorry, I know you've been trying to call all night. What's on your mind?
No, that's fine. I was just wanting to weigh in on Chargers building a stadium in San Diego.
Yeah, go for it, man. What do you got?
I don't think they're going to do it because since what happened with the Padres, how they gutted that whole team after the city of San Diego paid so much money for the new stadium. I just don't think that people in San Diego really want to pay for another stadium after that.
I think that's a fantastic point, and I think that one problem with all the past Padres ownership is they have kind of made it a lot tougher for the Chargers owners to get a stadium deal done because San Diego people who live in San Diego feel like they got lied to a little bit. I agree with you completely. I hope you're wrong in the sense that it won't happen, but I do think that it's going to make it very difficult because does anybody remember what year the Padres built?
Yeah, it's 2001, I want to say.
Okay, so 2001, and we're now in 2015, and they're finally starting to spend money.
Well, there was a sprinkle of division titles and competing, but that's it. It wasn't anything special.
They really feel like we got lied to.
Yeah, no, so Trevor, you feel like, I mean, I kind of share your sentiments because you feel like they spoiled it for the Chargers a little bit because, and then recently Jeff Morad leaves with a bunch of TV money. So it really kind of burned the bridges of a lot of San Diegans here, and I can totally agree with you as well, man.
Yeah. And then another thing I wanted to talk about was, I think, I forgot what I was going to say.
That's all right, man. Hey, we do it all the time, my friend.
well, let me ask you a question though. I mean, where do you stand? I mean, do you want this to happen, or I mean, where's your stance?
I want the Chargers to stay in San Diego. I don't think they belong in LA. I know that they don't really have a lot of people going to the games in San Diego right now, but I don't think there's going to be that many people going to the games in LA. Especially because they have so many teams there, so many sports.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that people fail to see. Like, if you go, you're splitting that market in two, but you're not really splitting all those residents in two. You're splitting the fans really in four between UCLA, USC, whoever goes up to LA and the Chargers. And I can't see the Chargers wanting to be the fourth wheel in that city.
Right.
That's just my thought.
Playing second fiddle, man.
Second fiddle, fourth fiddle.
Well,
man.
I mean, you're playing the banjo.
They're a spare tire. Let's be honest.
I think the first few years they'll be all right just because of the excitement of having an NFL team back. But I think really once they pass year 3, they're going to have a real hard time selling out because ultimately, LA fans don't like the Chargers. It'd be like us losing the Chargers and then the Raiders coming here. Would you want to root for? I don't care if they were the San Diego Raiders or not. You know, you don't.
You want to shit on their doorstep.
Exactly, exactly. So I think that they're gonna. And I always, I see the Chargers. They have that whole Carson thing in line and everything. But I wonder how many actual real studies they've done on what the fans would be like, up in LA, and if they would really support the Chargers, because to me it's just always seemed like that the LA people don't really, not only do they hate the Chargers, they're like indifferent to them. They just don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
So
especially after the Raiders being there for a while.
Yeah,
I
hear you.
Absolutely. I love the point that you brought up about the Padres souring it, though. That's something that I felt really strongly on, and we've never really brought that up before. But hopefully that's a hurdle that we'll be able to get past so we can get a stadium here or a multi-purpose facility.
Add to the jar.
$5
Just Justin.
for
And,
Jason.
Man.
And San Diego can get it done so we can keep our bolts in town.
Yeah.
All right, cool,
Well,
man.
thanks for letting me call in.
Yeah,
man,
thanks a lot
thank
for
you.
the call. We
Yeah.
look forward to hearing from you in the future, man.
Call in anytime.
Yeah.
All right, talk to you
All
later.
right, thanks. Bye.
Bye. Awesome. I think we've gotten more participation in this show than I can't remember.
Well,
the
it's
last
because the
time.
other half is here and
I
they're
knew
live.
that. I knew you were gonna
And
say that. I was
how
like-
do you like this now? Me and Josh are high-fiving.
I was trying to get you to stop because I knew that was coming.
Well, I knew it was
that's
going to be
awesome.
said again, but yes, no, and disregard all that. What a great show this has been, and it's all the participation. I mean, participation. Sorry, I've been a little off today.
plethora.
Look, I've had a week off. We want to thank in the chat room Charlie, Rosie, Brian, Trav, the mayor, Sam G, Sloppy Joe, Lisa, Charger Pride, Dill, Shelnick. Hopefully I pronounced that right, and D Fox. Just to name a few. And
Tyler,
everybody.
Hula for me, Trevor.
Hula, everybody.
Everybody.
Thank you guys for participating. Now, we've had our best turnout so far ever, and listens are up live right now, almost 80 people, which is crazy. So that's a good thing. We don't normally have that much going on.
Yeah, and Garrett says, forget the jar. He gets the money when you guys say stay. Yeah, just keep track, Garrett, and
That's
then
awesome.
just charge these guys later.
Now, do we want to get into Padres at all? I mean, the Padres had their
absolutely.
first spring
Well,
training.
let me
game
get you
today.
started
Absolutely.
today. Okay,
All right.
we had our first charity game, Mariners Padres.
Who started now? We
Jason Lane,
Jason Lane.
pitcher. Jason Lane.
Ex-outfielder, now starting pitcher.
Padres, they lost. They drop it 4-3, but you know, spring training how it goes.
Right.
A lot of new guys in there.
Is it time to panic? Should we
No.
start panicking?
I did see somebody tweet out, which was real funny. Matt Kempa goes up and whiffs and strikes out the first at bat, and they go, "Oh, not worth the money." And I start losing my mind. I go, "Not already, please don't."
They also read off on the Cannons today. Somebody tweeted out, "Oh, Padres lose to the Mariners. You got to be kidding me! I hope this isn't going to be a long season. One preseason game. Come on, people."
One thing I did like, Cam Maben leads off with a single, then he steals second, then he gets to third, and I'm like, wow, okay, Cam Maben, we always bag on the kid because he can't stay healthy. There's no denying he's got the athletic ability to play center field. He's our best option out there, I believe.
How awesome would it be if Cam Maben forced his way into this lineup?
Hey.
Because with what the Padres brought in the offseason, Cam Maben is going to have to play out of his damn mind
To get on the field. Agreed.
And if he forces Bud Black to put him in the opening day lineup,
All the better.
that is a win for the Padres.
It is.
That would be fantastic.
And right questions with Myers out there. They don't know how he's going to do yet. We
Right.
don't know him every day out there. So once they get to know how Myers plays center field, I think this could be a real nice mix of players this year, guys. I mean, I don't know about you. I really love the fact Maben and Venable can come at any point in the game. Say you're winning by 2 runs, and Bud wants to make a defensive switch. I'm going to save some more runs out here. I'm putting Maben out. And I'm going to bring Kemp in, get his legs rested. It's a great thing to have, and like you said, good problem to have.
There's going to be a lot of good battles going on. These next 3 to 4 weeks is
going to be fun, guys.
It's going to be a lot of fun. One of the names that kind of impressed a little bit today was Tommy Medica. He got 2 plate appearances, got 2 hits, and drove in a run.
Mikey's favorite player, Corey Spangenberg.
Yeah,
he scored a run.
Scored a run.
So
Had
let's,
a dinger. No, I'm
so
kidding.
really quick, I'm looking at the box score here. Here's my over-exaggeration analysis. I mean, it's my over, not exaggeration. My
Your Monday quarterback.
I'm just like, out of proportion here. Here's my thoughts.
Overreaction.
Yeah, overreactions. Spangenberg went 1 for 1 with the run scored.
Hey, it's not Spangenberg. It's Spangenberg.
Anyways, lead him off, guys. He's ready. 1 for 1 with the run scored. Jesus. And then, actually, the one it's not this much of an overreaction, but I actually like that Solarte went 2 for 3.
Yeah?
As day one,
I love Solarte.
Yeah.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
Well,
I like the fact that Justin Upton hit the ball 20 feet up the batter's eye in center field for a home run.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Listening to the commentator for the Mariners, he goes, and Justin hits a big fly ball, and yep, that's gone.
Yeah.
And he did and that's off the center field wall. And all I saw was tweets going, that's power, that's a bat we need, that's power. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned Solarte, and Am I the only one of the four of us that is predicting Middlebrooks starts at third? You guys all have Solarte.
No, I have Middlebrooks.
You have Middlebrooks.
I have
too?
Middlebrooks. Yeah.
I think it's Middlebrooks' job to lose.
I don't think it's anybody's job to lose. To be honest with you, I think that's an open competition.
Like I said a few weeks ago, I want Middlebrooks to win the job, but I think Solarte is the opening day third baseman.
Way to cover all your bases.
Yeah, man.
I said that 2 weeks ago. I'm a fan of Will Middlebrooks. He's struggled in Boston. He's really got to show himself. So.
Yeah.
That's funny, but no, I mean
Solarte was a shot in the arm last year.
He was.
Yes, he was.
He was.
Yes, he was.
I mean, he was. So you never know, but there's a lot of things that happen here in spring training, and it's funny you guys bring up people overreacting, going crazy.
That's us.
That's you guys.
That's me, man.
That's you. Sorry, John.
So Will Middlebrooks, 3 years ago, hit like 290, drove in. I think he hit 15 home runs.
Crazy power.
They're thinking he's the third baseman of the future. Next year he batted 221. Drove in, hit 17 bombs.
Right.
So batting average dropped, but he still had the power. The next year, Jason, he batted 191 and only had like 5 home runs.
Bat him in the cleanup spot for the Padres.
The mat. So he has more to prove, I think, of any accusation that we brought over.
I'm gonna change gears here. Trevor Brown, he had called earlier today. He just posted something in the chat room that was very, very funny. Where he found us, guys, was on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
And the funny thing about that, for those of you who don't know, was that was a previous show that we had done years ago.
Yeah.
We had completely stopped that, started up the new thing on Spreaker. So he found and saw us
Great.
doing
He knows
stuff.
he knows what our ugly mugs look like.
Yeah, he saw the actual video show.
Actually, I was pretty handsome that time period.
That was a younger you.
That was a younger me. I was really nervous.
But it's so great that he found us on there, and then he happened to download Spreaker, and he found us again on there.
That is cool. Very, very cool, Trev. We appreciate it. Yeah, those are what, 2.5 years ago now?
That was a long time
so
ago.
that was when we first started, and the concept kind of formed.
And I want to just point out that Hula says she welcomes Trevor and tells him that Josh, Justin, and I rock. Jason, you apparently do not rock.
I don't rock. I don't rock, I guess.
He rolls. Jason does not rock, he rolls. Yeah. He's the roller in the rock. He's the roller in the rock. Rolling Stone, that guy.
Shoot. Awesome.
Oh, man.
So what do you guys think?
So
anything else you guys want to? I mean, I know we're going to talk baseball all year.
How many? I've been, unfortunately, I don't get MLB Network. How many games in spring training are going to be on Fox Sports San Diego?
Quite a bit.
That's what I'm hoping.
I think there was like 13 or 14 games that's on the preseason schedule that we can see between MLB Network, Fox Sports. I don't think there's anything on ESPN per se, but Fox Sports and MLB Network that we'll be able to watch.
And another cool tool, I have the MLB at Bat app on my phone.
I had that last season.
Did you like it?
I did like it.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's so convenient at work, when you can actually throw your headphones in and you're not going to be bothered or something like that. But they'll actually stream the game live on your phone there for you once in a while. So that's cool.
Quick little update, guys. There's 2 minutes left in the first half. Aztecs are down 29-26. Good note, though, J.J. O'Brien's going off. He's got 14 points. He's really the only one going off offensively
somebody
for us
else
right
needs
now.
to step up because you'll lose.
Hula also remembered that Jake and I both rock also.
The next highest scorer, 2 points.
Yeah,
by like 5 different guys.
Yeah.
So it's the JJ show right now, and I agree with you, Justin. If we're going to win this game in UNLV, somebody else has to step up
there has
offensively.
To be a second half. What's Malik Pope doing? Is he getting any time today?
Malik Pope, he's got he's
4 or 5 points.
He's got 5 rebounds.
He's 0 for 4 from the field, though.
Yeah, he hasn't been shooting the rock like he is.
0 for 3 from 3-point land.
Right.
Sam G reminds us in 10 minutes on MLB.com they're going to be replaying the Padre game.
Yeah, no, I did record that. Thank you, Sam. And then also Hula, I want to shout her out on. I kind of run the Instagram for the San Diego Sports Junkies, and she's a huge supporter of our Instagram. When I put a photo up or anything, she tags everybody. We've gotten many new followers because of her. So shout you out, Hula. Thank you very much, and I hope you participate in the show more often.
Really quick, Trevor, just give us an update. He lives in Vegas, and he's a UNLV fan.
Come on, Trev. We thought we liked you. No, we're just kidding, dude. Thanks for your support.
We had to dock some points from your first visit.
I guess he won't be listening to the Aztec portion of the show.
All right, guys, we're going to wind it down. We thank each and every one of you. This has been, I'm going to jump out on the limb. This has been the best show that we've had. to date. We have over 79 live listens, almost 1,000 chats in the chat room, comments in the chat room.
Which is what makes it great.
It's amazing. This is what makes what we do fun is you guys. Our motto, a show for fans.
By the fans.
And without you guys, we wouldn't be where we are today, 2.5 years into the making of the San Diego Sports Junkies. So we thank all of you guys.
iHeartRadio.
Our hearts.
iHeartRadio. Find us on iHeartRadio. I think that was almost a year ago now. I mean, it's getting close to a year. We were successfully submitted onto iHeart. So, yeah, we're proud of that.
Like our iHeartRadio page.
Like it.
Like
submit.
our Spreaker page. Make sure you guys join and like our Spreaker page.
Right.
Make sure that you like and you rate our iTunes.
I think on Spreaker alone, we got like 7 or 8 more followers just tonight.
Yeah.
Following our Spreaker page alone. Do that in every show. Hit the like button up at the top left there. It helps us out and gets us noticed and gets you noticed too because you can be on the show. So appreciate it.
If you enjoy it, guys, by all means, help us spread the word.
Oh, Sloppy Joe, knock it off. Go Pods, baby. Go Pods. Knock it off in there, all right?
We're all San Diego sports all the time, whether it's Padres, Chargers, Aztecs, the goals, anything you want to talk about, feel free to pick up that phone and give us a call and let's talk some San Diego sports. So this is San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans.
By the fans.
We are signing out, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
That very same man, he lives his life all alone. On any road to life, yes, it goes up and down. Doesn't really matter as long as the music goes on. But Mr.
Thank you for listening to the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans. Brought to you by Cali Comfort, home of the low and slow barbecue, and SK Digital Imaging with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, Jason Eidsmoe, and Mike Maciejewski. Subscribe to us on iHeartRadio, on Spreaker, and on iTunes. Visit SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com for all your Chargers, Padres, and Aztecs news.